Hi Jay, how you doing? It's Kim McCotter here from Service Professionals Australia. Mate, I thought I'd put together this video for you for three reasons actually. One was to summarise the discussions that we've had. We've had a few discussions over time and I just want to check in with you to make sure that I understand correctly where you're at. The second reason is that your business partner didn't attend Service Success Academy, so he probably has no idea what we're all about, who is Service Professionals and how we can help you grow. And the third reason why I wanted to put this video together was to stimulate and agitate your thinking, so you have a whole stack of questions for me next week. From what I was hearing, your feedback from Service Success Academy was that you thought it was great, but perhaps not long enough. You were looking for more networking opportunities throughout the day and possibly making it a bit longer, perhaps 2 days. About you guys, Gillies Group. You've been running for 6 years and you currently use your own in-house version of a flat rate software along with CavSoft and Fleetmatics. You have 2 directors, 3 tradies and a subby with 3 trucks, and you're 60% commercial strata and 40% residential. The plan moving forward is to maintain the commercial side of things and moving more into the residential space as you grow. Quite clearly, the mining boom has ended in WA and you were quite sheltered from it because of your good business practices. But about 3 or 4 months ago, it really did start to slow up for you guys. But luckily at the moment, things are coming back and you guys are busy again. You're currently around the $1 million mark and you're in the process of getting your business in order. You wish to get to $3 to $5 million within 5 years. Your marketing predominantly is Google AdWords, quarterly direct mail pieces to existing customers, and also membership loyalty cards. You're just trying that out at the moment, and that's sort of taking a bit of time to get going. But it seems to be that your customers are appreciating it. You mentioned that you were considering putting on a new marketing consultant to help you grow your business, but you've actually delayed that because you've just put on an operations manager. You've mentioned that your company has 5 challenges presently. One was marketing, getting your phones to ring with the right customers at the lowest price. Very specifically, you wanted to know details about who to market to, when to market, who, what, when, where to market, and how to track it, so you can actually improve it for the future. Issue number 2 that you identified was that you know that you need to grow as a leader and very specifically be able to get things done without micromanaging staff. The third issue that you've identified is that currently, currently tradies see themselves as technicians, purely there to fix and install things, but not necessarily to sell or find new opportunities for the company. At the moment, the sales side of things is the primary responsibility of management, and you'd like to change this. The fourth thing that you've identified is you'd like to connect with other like-minded individuals, business owners, get a mentor who has done this before. And the fifth thing that you've identified is that you'd like to get your systems and processes up to speed, so when you scale, you don't have to be working 24/7. If anything about that didn't sound right, let me know, just so I can keep up to date for where you're at. So, for an explanation of who we are, Service Professionals Australia is a training and peer learning company. We're connected with the largest contracting group in the world, which is Service Roundtable and Service Nation Alliance. We're the Australian arm of that, and we call it Service Nation Australia. So, how do we help? There's 3 main areas that people tell us how we can help them. first and foremost, we have a lot of IP or access to IP, which is like intellectual property, things like templates, processes, checklists, business systems, all that sort of stuff that you need to run a business. This basically means that if you were, for example, to take out a membership, you'd have access to these materials. It would save you years, decades of trying to do it yourself, testing it, measuring it, and then refining it. These processes have been used by a lot of successful companies. For example, in-house, when we bring stuff from America, we test it in Amiga Home Services, which is Alan's other company, and we refine it, make sure we Australianize it basically, so it's appropriate for our market, and we test it. The second way that we help is that we bring together a group of like-minded business owners that basically end up helping each other. We've understand that Service Professionals Australia doesn't have all the answers, nor does Service Nation Alliance. We tend to find that you're at this stage and someone else will be at this stage, and they've been there and they can help you through that process. Part of being a member is actually giving back to the group, and that is a very important facet. And I know this doesn't apply to you guys, but we've had incidents where members not contributed back and just wanted to take for themselves, and they are no longer members. So the idea of networking with like-minded individuals is that you can help each other sort each other's problems out, and then we all learn. The third way that we can help is that we train you and your staff on proven techniques that work. So stuff that we've tested in Amiga, stuff that other members have tested, and we bring that to you. For example, things like how to sell, how to answer your phones, how to market, how to implement change in your business, that sort of thing. That's just a bit of an overview about who we are and how we can help. When you went to the conference, Jay, there was a document outlining the membership services that we offer. I just thought I'd run through those ahead of time, just so when we chat next week, you can focus on the specific questions and issues that you may have. So let me just pull this up, excuse me, and I'll share it on the screen. Right, sorry about that. Look at my bald spot. Cool. Let me just make sure I've shared my screen so you can see that. Here we go. Cool. So we offer a series of services. As I mentioned, that we're affiliated with Service Roundtable and Service Nation Alliance. Probably a little bit of explanation of what these are. Service Roundtable is a best practices group. It's internet-based, and it's where you can go to download templates for your own use. For example, things like if you were to do a direct mail out, you would download the files, crack them open in Publisher, and adapt and put your logos in them, and then you can use them straight away. This saves a heap on, for example, graphic design costs, and also marketing consultants. Service Roundtable is $50 US a month, and it is included in our Service Nation Australia memberships. So I'm just leaning slightly to the right because there is a microphone above me. I'll just grab the keyboard. All right. Service Nation Alliance is a best practices group in the States which owns Service Roundtable, and it goes into a lot more detail to do with business processes and tools that you can use. Where a lot of our IP came from was the States. So a little bit of background about Service Professionals Australia and Amiga Home Services. It was founded by Alan Ferguson probably in 1987, because we just had our 30th anniversary. He worked really hard and built up the business over a series of years, and then he basically went broke in 2002. He lost everything, including his house, self-dignity, all his investments, and most of his worldly possessions. The only thing that he was left with was the business, Amiga Home Services. I believe it was called Amiga Plumbing at that stage. So he thought, Jesus Christ, there has to be a better way of doing this. And so he looked around. And at that time, there was no help in Australia. That sort of thing didn't exist here. And so he looked further abroad towards the States, and he found this Service Nation Alliance and Service Roundtable. That basically changed his life. The reason it changed his life is that it gave him insight that, guess what, there is a different way of running your business. You guys work so damn hard, you might as well be rewarded for it in the process. And fully understands most small businesses owners do 50, 60, 70, 80 hours, sometimes more, plus a weekend, and often are on call 24/7. So with all the passion, the energy, the commitment, the investment that you guys make, it needs to be worth it. Service Nation Alliance is part of that process. And so we get intel from Service Nation Alliance, and we basically domesticate it for the Australian market. Another one of the products that we sell is this product called Pricing for Profit. What Pricing for Profit is a short form audio coaching program that is delivered weekly. What we've noticed is that with flat rate pricing, whether it's a homegrown book or whether you purchase a particular product, you can't just go and print off a price book and go to the guys, here you go. Here's a price book. This is what we charge. Now I want you to go quote and win us business. Good luck. What happens? Not much. The reason not much happens is because there isn't that supporting training around it. What is flat rate pricing? What's the benefits? How do you train for it? How does it all fit in with marketing, customer service, and that sort of thing? So this idea of Pricing for Profit is to excuse the term, but come in at the base level and step you through all the steps along the way to get people on board and understanding what it means to price correctly and succeed in business. This is included in the SNA memberships, Service Nation Australia memberships. We also do weekly training. If you happen to look at the document, it's listed as weekly Skype calls. We've just changed platforms to this platform here, which is Zoom. The idea is that we have a chat to you and you've got a series of concerns that you'd like addressed in your business, and then Alan, myself, whoever is most appropriate, will put together some training and we'll record it in this fashion and we upload it to our AB training room. So the idea is that you can go back at any point in time. For example, there's topics like how to find A-grade staff, how to recruit staff, how to add another division to your business, customer service and building relationship with strangers, that sort of thing. We will be building this out over time so you can go back and go, oh man, I'm really struggling to get staff. Go specifically to the people section and get training on that topic. If we don't have it, and if you were to become a member, we would be asking you, what do you want? And what are your challenges? We then create training around that. And this is part of how we keep the costs down, is that we're coaching essentially a large group at the same time. Okay, so Jay, you may have seen me present on this at Service Success Academy. If you want to scale your business, and there needs to be pretty much these positions in your company. Now, at the moment, you may be, for example, in this position, and this position, your partner may be in the others, but at the moment you're currently doing all the sales rep role, and you're also doing the customer service role as well. And your techs are just doing the installation side of things. Nothing wrong with that, but you actually need to build apologies for such assertions, but if you wish to scale, you would need people at each of these roles. And at the moment, you're filling all of them. The idea is that you want to focus on setting up the systems and processes around, for example, sales rep, and having someone else's name in that position, then holding them accountable after you've, of course, trained them and incentivized them. Oh, operations manuals. Here we go. So big part of the membership is the IP that we can provide. As you can see there, there's the operations manual. Excuse me while I lean to the right, which is this here. So this is a template for running your company. For example, I'll just randomly open up to a spot. This is good as any. And this is 2.1, service and field staff meetings. The importance of training, why we train, is to provide service co-workers with regular and frequent training is one of the most important keys for success. Frequent training and communication keeps your field team aligned with goals, objectives for your business. Tips on making your meetings effective, and what would be, I'll just move that closer, what would be that process? Okay, so for example, on this particular one, if you want to run a service meeting, you would start by committing to developing the staff internally with a regular training schedule. You would then set the expectations for a weekly service meeting, and you'd be planning a quarter or half a year out. You designate the date and times of training. You designate who would be doing the training. Does the trainer need presentation or other training to get them up to speed? Yes, get them sorted. No, they're good to go. You need somewhere to train, a training facility. You've got to reserve the space, get the equipment, the props required, create your meeting calendar, announce it to the participants, and get going. So that's the sort of stuff, step by step, for every aspect of your business, actually. Put that down. If paper is not your thing, fully understand that. There is an online version available. Cool. Next product that we offer is Tactical Perfection. What Tactical Perfection is a 4-hour class series that we run fortnightly going into the future. We have been running them something like monthly. So they've been extremely popular, so we're looking to expand them. Excuse me while I lean over here. Jay, if you're at Service Success Academy, you'd have seen the program guide. If you happen to go to the very back page, you'll see an event calendar. For example, and I know you guys are plumbers, but in January, we've got a Sparky sales. In February, we've got CSR, service skills training for CSR and DSR. We're running one on marketing mastery, getting your phones to ring. And at this stage, and so on and so forth. So at this stage, we're looking at the 18th of the 1st. I can't read my own handwriting. I believe that's the 4th of the 2nd and the 15th of February. Also, from time to time, we may bring in extra stuff because speaking to the people from Service Success Academy, there was a lot of people expressing interest in our sewer sales course, which the next one wasn't scheduled till April because we've already just done one. But if the need's there, we'll schedule it. Jay, you did ask the question, is there the possibility to do AV streaming? Sure. Hey, I'm game. We're here to serve our members and we'll do whatever we can basically to make that happen. The whole idea of Tactical Perfection is that it is implementation focused. So for example, with our sewer sales training, it's about how do you break down a job to make it more palatable for a customer. You go to a job, heavily wooded, sewer's not going where it's supposed to. You know good and well that it's highly likely that they'll need either a jet, a patch, or a total reline. That's just the way it is. You've already known that. If you go up to your customer and say, by the way, that's $20,000, they're going to show you the door. Sewer sales through Tactical Perfection is where you send your guys to say, okay, how do we structure that call to lead to the greatest amount of success? Because at the end of the day, you want to win the work, you want to be ethical in how you do it, and you want to charge a rate which makes you a decent profit. Now, a product that we offer, if you look on the membership schedule, is Success Track Masterclass. In this case, with Joe Cunningham, we've just done them for a year. We had a members day on Friday after SSA with Joe. Monday we had service management, Tuesday, Wednesday we had technician training, and Thursday we had HVAC training. Full day courses, we try and find the best speakers available in their given topic. Joe is exceptionally good at sales, and that's why we flew him out from the States to be speaking at SSA and also to hold these classes. Got a series of testimonials. The feedback has been great. Unfortunately, he does cost a stack, so we can't get him out too often. You'll notice that, for example, if you look at the calendar, we're planning to have a business and marketing planning masterclass and things called expert days. Expert days is, I have no idea who's going to be presenting at that stage, but we'll find someone really valuable and an expert in their field to be holding a class. We'll be listening to members to find out what that is. If that happens to be digital marketing, for example, we'll find a digital marketing expert. If it happens to be customer service, we'll find a customer service expert and they'll run a full day course. So your membership entitles you to tickets in these masterclasses. If you elect to do them by distance through some sort of Skype integration, Zoom thing, we'll make that happen. Get it? Perth is a long way and it costs a lot to get around. Obviously, Service Success Academy, not much needs to be said about this. Jay, you've experienced it for yourself. The next one is in May and it's going to be an international roundtable. So we're just finalising those details. Unfortunately, that's not going to be $99. There's going to be substantially more. But this is where we bring the best we can find in the world, but also the rest of the world comes to us. Yeah, we'll go with that. If you, for example, you've been to Service World in Las Vegas, we're hoping to emulate that locally. One of our very, very, very popular services, and indeed the feedback that we get for this particular service from the techs, is they get the most value from the professional ride-alongs. Professional ride-alongs is where you get in the truck with us and we have a ride-along specialist run calls, and so to speak, you'd be under our brand with our customers. So your technician can see how high-performing sales techs do what they do, basically. This is really, really, really beneficial for people who learn visually. They like to see it, as in seeing it to believe it. And so far, I think we've only ever had one bad ride-along where they weren't happy and we just did it again. The other type of ride-along, which in all honesty probably isn't practical in your case, is an advanced ride-along. This is really good for kinesthetic learners, people who learn by doing. It's where we come to you and we watch you do a sales call and we help you coach through the process of how to improve, and we work with managers to provide feedback about how that tech is performing and the things that they can do to improve. Cool. So our membership services, they're based on best practices. We're actually residentially focused, not commercial focused. When you're selling in the home, it does require a totally different approach to, for example, dealing with builders than dealing with prop managers and strata or other commercial work. So we are residential focused. The membership is based on processes and systems and all that IP from Service Nation Alliance brought into Australia. And we focus on developing people through training. Last part of the membership is that you need to want to participate and give back to your industry. It does require you to contribute to the group through basically peer networking and sharing. One thing that we can't ask about or won't ask about is what you charge. We will help you set your prices, but one thing that we can't discuss, although this is volunteered by other members, is price. So before we go on to online calculators, let me just lean over here. Sorry, that was a shot. There is a series of online, oh, that's not good for the phone, all good. So there is a series of online calculators that we provide to help you determine how much you should charge. How much should you mark up materials? Do you actually want to be a 5-truck operation, or do you want to be a 50-truck operation to achieve your goals, and which is better? How to get your marketing sorted, basically, and how much do you actually need to earn from a lifestyle point of view, and how that all works within a profitability context. And of course, one of the really important ones is the break-even calculator. Would you prefer to go to a job and make little or no money, or would you prefer to go to or sit on the beach, basically? Knowing your numbers in terms of break-even means you'll understand whether that is worth it or not, and what that dollar amount is for you. Cool. So before I continue on, one of the things that you get is business templates for things like this. This is a tech pack. Joe Cunningham, for example, spoke about this at Service Success Academy. This is part of getting your techs to succeed. So, for example, the sort of things that you would get if you were to join as a member is templates for things like valve tags, cutoff tags, things like stickers that you put on hot water systems and other areas so people can find you. If you do decide to go into work more as a multi-trade and promote that, things like fault finding guides for power boxes. And there is actually a methodology about how all this stuff is used to increase your profit. For example, we're very big advocates on comp inspections and actually looking for other opportunities while you're there. The number one killer of profitability, besides sloppy techs, of course, is single call jobs. So when you're there, if you just get called out for the primary concern, which they've called you out for, it's pretty tough. What you want to do, where am I? There we are. What you want to do, for example, is when you're there, you also want to ask a series of questions, and that is part of the sales techniques that we train on, of, by the way, would it be okay if we check over your entire plumbing and electrical system? And then you get the tech to go around the house once you've got appropriate permission and tick off whether it's good, bad, or ugly. This then leads into what we call the option sheet, where you list out a series of options. My job is not here to sell you anything, but is to merely highlight what's wrong, and you can do as little or as much as you like. And there's a whole system and process about how to succeed consistently in that space. Note sheet, it's pretty straightforward. Job contracts, we would probably direct you to EC Credit on this because we don't want to disrespect their IP. Things like credit card forms. Sorry, probably didn't see that. Apologies. If your terminal happens to fail, things like drain letters. So these are used when, for example, you're doing major drain work, and basically the customer understands and also signs off on the fact that you reserve the right to dig up and retrieve your equipment, as it always does remain yours. Sign-offs, for example, when you do electrical switchboard upgrades, they may have, for example, ceramic fuses and that sort of stuff, which haven't had any problems. You repair it and you upgrade it to a new system with RCDs and that sort of thing. And then the new system trips because it's a lot more sensitive. This is something that you explain and get them to sign off beforehand before you do the upgrade. Things like coupon sheets and happy packs and other supporting material. So those are the sort of templates that you get if you happen to become a member. One of the big topics that we help you with, besides helping you set your prices, is how to incentivize your staff, very specifically your techs in the field. At the moment, if you happen to be charging an hourly or paying them an hourly rate, one of the biggest improvements that you can make for your profitability is to incentivize your guys correctly. Now, I do know that this is done excuse me, is done many different ways amongst our members. It's about finding what works for you and your staff. Some guys literally are not financially driven, and so you just have to be mindful of what is the appropriate incentive plan for them. Another thing that you get through the membership is connections with our affiliate partners. So we're partners with OpenPay. The benefit of going through us is you can access the same rates that Amiga is getting, and they've got 80 trucks and stuff. If you were to go to them directly, you'd get a far less preferential rate. What OpenPay is consumer finance. It's how do you make it easy for your customer to say yes. So I'd like to go ahead with the drain reline, but I just don't have 10K. Oh, well, that's okay. If, for example, you could pay it off on a weekly basis, would that help? Yes, of course it would for a lot of people. Oh, we do have another option. It's called OpenPay. Does that interest you? Yes, it does. You win the business, you do the job, and OpenPay pays you the next day, regardless of what happens. If the customer defaults, that's what OpenPay is for. So this eliminates people not paying you and all the stress of chasing money and all that space. So what does the memberships cost? Pretty much, oh gosh, sorry about that. I'll have to sort that out. It pays for itself. What do I mean? So these are the membership options that we have. If you were to pull up that document, I'll probably include a copy with this as an email. We've got the seed membership, the startup membership, the growth membership, and the scale. Why we have the different levels, and we used to only have essentially 1 or 2 levels before, is that the amount of support that you need varies depending on the size of your company. So there's no point at one size fits all where you go, yes, I need the whole shooting match when you've only got a small team. The seed is pretty much the bare essentials. Doesn't include any classes or anything like that. It's just access to the IP and also the networking opportunities, but it doesn't include any classes, ride-alongs, events, or anything like that. Excuse me. The startup is focused predominantly on when you've got one person, and it's about getting that owner trained up. The next one is the growth, which incorporates other partners, management, that sort of things, getting them up to speed. So you'll see that predominantly there is difference in the tickets, and the scale is when you want to go hell for leather and incorporate all your staff along for the ride. The idea particularly about the scale one is to make sure that you're positioning yourself as the architect of the business instead of being in the trenches, so to speak. In Australia, we don't track this because we have a smaller membership base, but in the States they do track this. On average, when people join Service Nation Alliance, which is our American partner, their average sales increase by 352,000, and that's across all their members. Fully understand that you've got far greater aspirations financially, and that's cool. We'll work with you to get that done. Sorry, I'm staring at myself in the screen there instead of over here. On average, the Service Nation Alliance, which is our American folks, experience a 32% increase in net profit. Cool. So if you have any questions, there's my details. Looking forward to speaking with you guys next week sometime. Let us know, and we'll chat further then. Bye for now.